I got people asking me, Alec, how do I put on some more serious muscle mass and do it naturally and as fast as possible? Now, to cover the part about doing it as fast as possible, I just want to set some clear expectations. When it comes to building muscle, doing it naturally, you can expect to build about 1 pound of muscle per month if you're doing everything right. That means you're training right and you're eating right, which includes getting in the right amount of protein, eating the right amount of calories. If you want more information on that, check out the video link I got up there. I can break down more of those numbers in that video. But assuming you're eating right and you're training right, you will naturally build about 1 pound of muscle per month. If you're brand new to training and exercising and you are experiencing those newbie gains, you could expect to build about 2 pounds of muscle per month. So given the fact that we can only expect to build about 1, maybe 2 pounds of muscle per month, you have to allocate your training in a way that best places that muscle in areas of your body where you're going to notice the most results. Because if you think about it, let's say you had a slab of clay. You're making a clay statue and someone gives you a little ball of clay to add to the statue. You can take that clay, the extra clay, and spread it out all throughout the body of the clay figurine that you are creating, but it won't look like it got that much bigger. Now, if you're trying to make that clay figurine look like bigger proportionally with the muscles and everything like that, there are a few areas where you should place that clay. That includes the shoulders, the calves, the quads, and the chest and or back. You can quite literally shape the physique of this clay figurine in a way where it looks like it is much bigger proportionally than it was prior, given the same amount of clay. So when you are trying to build your muscle, if you go to the gym and you're working out every single muscle in your entire body, that 1 pound has to be spread out throughout that entire area. Now imagine if you had that 1 pound of muscle that you built during that month and you slapped it right on your shoulder. Like that shoulder would look massive with that 1 pound of muscle being allocated to that area. Now it doesn't exactly work in that fashion, but that's just kind of the concept that I want to get conveyed over to you. When you are training, you have to train in a way where you are targeting which muscle specifically that you want to grow. If you are a guy, I would say really focus on lateral shoulder, triceps. Your tricep makes up 2/3 of your arm. So if you grow that muscle, it will make your arms look visually much larger as opposed to building your bicep. Other areas, your back, you work on your lats, doing wide grip lat pull downs. That's going to create more of that V tapered shape. And then for chest, really working on like the upper chest, upper pec area is going to give that visual look overall of having a much larger chest without necessarily needing to grow your entire chest muscle. And as a little side note here, shoulders are cheat code. You get bigger shoulders, your arms are going to be looking massive as a byproduct. Your upper body is going to be looking massive as a byproduct. So if you're a guy, working those shoulders is a big deal. Women, the big thing right now, and I think for a while it's been a big thing, but working them glutes. That means squats, lunges. Literally doing just those 2 things is going to really develop those glutes. However, if you forget to do this one thing, it is totally going to mess up how big you can get those glute muscles to grow. And that one thing is also the thing that I've seen a lot of other clients, a lot of other people fail to do in the gym with other muscle parts as well. And what is that thing? It is neglecting to flex the muscle throughout the entire exercise. If you are not developing that better mind-muscle connection by really focusing on squeezing and flexing and pumping the blood into those muscles while you are training them, they won't grow as big. Studies have shown that if you are able to flex your muscle so strong to the point where it feels like it's about to cramp up, people are able to grow those muscles much more quickly than other parts of their body where they are unable to flex to that degree. Now, does that mean in order to grow muscles, you have to flex it to the point where it feels like it's going to cramp up? No. What it's trying to imply is that if you are able to create greater flex, greater tension, squeezing and flexing those muscles, the more you can do that while you are training, the better you can train that muscle. I've had times where I'm training clients, we're doing chest, and they're hitting the bench press. Oh, and they get to that last set, and then they boom, they put the weight back, and they're like, whew, boy, Alec, that was a good workout right there. My shoulders and triceps are feeling it. And I'm like, your shoulders and triceps are feeling the chest workout we did? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, no, we got to decrease the weight. They're like, why do we got to decrease the weight? I'm like, dude, because we're working chest and you just said your shoulders and triceps are feeling it more. So we decrease the weight. They're able to get that better flex going in the chest, because the reason why the shoulders and the triceps were taking over is because those muscles felt more confident performing that movement than the chest did. Now, why did it feel more confident? Because they felt mind-muscle connection-wise that it could contract better with that amount of weight that was being lifted. So by decreasing the weight and creating a more intentional flex of the muscle that we were actually trying to work, this person was able to perform that set and felt it way more in their chest than they did prior with even heavier weight. And that brings us to the third thing that I find that a lot of people neglect to do. So the first thing that people neglect to do, they're just not even working the muscle that's going to give them the biggest visual bang for their buck. The second thing is they're really not flexing the muscle that they are trying to work. And then the third thing is they're doing too much weight. For the past year and a half, close to 2 years now, I've consistently done no less than 12 reps. That was a very weird way of phrasing it. But for the past 2 years, I've been doing 16 to 20 reps for all of my exercises. And I've put on more muscle during that period of time than I have throughout the vast majority of my career of lifting weights. And the reason why is because, well, first of all, if you're performing 12 reps or 16 reps with an exercise, you're drastically decreasing your risk of getting injured by lifting too much weight, by pulling a muscle, by impinging a joint, or just by simply dropping a heavy weight on you, So if you're doing 12, 16 reps, you're way less likely to injure yourself with that amount of weight, which means you can be in the gym more consistently, which also means you're able to fatigue the muscle to the point where it's actually going to respond by growing. So with the lighter weight, not only can you develop that better mind-muscle connection, but you can also guarantee that you are working the muscle that you want to work because you will feel that muscle working. And then the fourth thing, I kind of hinted at it a second ago there, it's the fatigue. You got to actually stimulate the muscle enough so that it responds by growing more muscle. And there's a few ways that you can do that. I call them the 4 levers. So muscle responds to stimuli. You have to provide enough stimulus to the muscle so that it responds by saying wow, we're getting very fatigued here. We got to start growing. Now, how can you do that? Well, the most common one is weight, which we just discussed. People think, well, if I want to really stimulate the muscle, I got to use a lot of weight. Now, weight is important, but more weight can only get you so far. It's just one of the factors that you can use. It's one of the levers that you can utilize to grow more muscle. The second lever is reps. If you perform more reps, you can actually build more muscle. Studies have shown that you can perform up to 30 reps and still see a hypertrophic response given by the muscle. Now, do you need to do 30 reps? I don't think so. You could do 12, you could do 16. I've done 20 reps and I've been seeing some very good results myself with that. And that's the second lever, doing more reps. Now, can you do a really heavy weight and perform 20 reps? No, you can't. So you got to decrease the weight while also increasing the reps. Another lever is moving the weight more slowly. Now imagine, you're lifting, you're doing bicep curls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, boom. And you put that weight down. It's like, man, that was a good workout. Now imagine trying to lift that same weight with any exercise, any routine that you are doing, and cutting the time in half that it takes you to perform that exercise. Or I guess technically doubling the amount of time it takes to perform that rep for that exercise. So instead of being half a second to lift it up, imagine it's 3 seconds. Ooh, and then 3 seconds down, 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down. Now, you really cannot do a lot of weight when it's taking you 3 seconds to perform a single repetition. So you would decrease the weight again. You're doing 3 seconds, flex that muscle, and you're doing 12 to 16 reps. That's getting very intense. And there's a fourth lever as well, and that's rest. That's the amount of rest that you're taking in between the sets. Now, power lifters, they'll rest for 2-3 minutes before performing another set because they want to go into that exercise and move as much weight as possible. So by having that long rest period, they're able to make sure that the muscles recover to the point where they can do those 2 or 3 reps with that massive amount of weight, and then they can rest and repeat. But imagine you perform a set and you wait 15 seconds and you get right back into it. It's going to be very difficult to do a lot of weight. It's going to be very difficult to do a whole lot of reps. It's also going to be very difficult to do it for that 3-second period. But these are all factors that you can utilize, all levers that you can pull on to increase the intensity of the exercise without needing to do a whole lot of weight, without needing to do a whole lot of reps, and without it needing to take a whole lot of time. So those are some things that you can do to help increase the intensity of your workout so that your muscle responds by saying, hey, we got to grow some more muscle. And then as a last little side note here, I've had guys come up to me, they're like, yo, bro, Alec, can you give me some advice? I really want to build more muscle, get strong. And I'm like, all right, nice. Do you want to build more muscle or do you want to get really strong? They're like, yeah. I'm like, no, it's one, one or the other, dude. If you want to get really strong, I know a bunch of things you can do to get really strong. If you want to build a lot of muscle, I know a lot of things that you can do build a lot of muscle. But you can't really be doing both if you want to get the most out of one of those things. If you try to do both, you get kind of results, at least from what I found, personal experience, training others, growing muscle myself. So it's like, if you want to get stronger, by all means do that, but it does not mean you're going to get more muscle. And if you want to grow more muscle, you will get stronger as a byproduct, but you're not going to get super, super strong. So for people where they think, well, no, you gotta lift big weights to get big. Not necessarily. You've heard of the stories about the mom that's able to lift up the car to save the baby that's trapped underneath or something like that. We are all capable of lifting significantly more weight than our minds and our bodies allow us to do. Our mind quite literally is hindering our body's ability to be stronger in order to protect itself. And it's funny because a lot of times when people perform new exercises, they think like, oh man, I did this new exercise, man, that weight was tough. A week goes by, they do it again. They're like, I got so much stronger. Not necessarily. It's just that your body is now allowing you to feel comfortable performing the exercise with that given amount of weight. It's more of a neurological response than it is a muscular adaptation. So when it comes to building strength, like that's why I try to avoid the whole strength thing, is because at some point you can only lift so much weight. And there's so many different factors that can go into whether one person can lift more weight than another. Like if strength purely is your intention, then like by all means go for it. I'm just more of the physique guy. I'd rather build more muscle, burn fat. So, because like I've had times I'm standing next to guys, they're lifting twice as much as I am, but they don't look twice as muscular as I do. And I'm not trying to say that as like I'm bragging over here, but you've seen it before. People where it's like, man, I didn't realize you were so strong. You don't look like you're that strong. What's that insinuating? It means that people can be strong without necessarily looking big and muscular. But again, as a side note, like you will get stronger as you build muscle, but you're not going to be as strong as if you just totally devoted yourself to building muscle. But that's the thing that's gonna hinder your ability. Like, don't get so caught up on the weight. The amount of weight is just a conduit. It's just a means by which to get you to the end result. It's not the end result. The end result is building more muscle. Now, if you can build more muscle by lifting less weight, do that. You know, all that stress on the joints, who needs it? Simply perform some more reps, move the weight more slowly, decrease the rest period, and that body, those muscles are going to be like, dang, we got to grow. So those are all the things I've seen in my personal experience of training clients, of just talking to people in the gym, that will prevent them from building more muscle. If you got any questions, if you'd like to see more breakdowns, more topics about how you can build muscle, burn fat, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got a plethora of videos talking about those topics. And if you're new here, I want to invite you to hit that subscribe button. That way you can join the community. We're all out here getting fit, having fun, and talking fitness. So if that's something you'd be interested in, definitely would want to invite you to the community. So thank you so much for watching this video. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace.